Hello everyone, and you're very welcome to the presentation, Maynooth University Degrees in Science and Engineering. My name is Ita McGuigan, and I'm going to be talking for the next 30 minutes, and I'm going to be joined then with a MU student from science who will talk to you about their experience. Probably the most important thing, well, hopefully I'll be giving you very insightful information during the next 30 minutes. But if you have a pen and a bit of paper, I would encourage you to take down my name and, more importantly, my email address, just in case you might think of something tonight, tomorrow, or indeed, maybe the end of June before the 1st of July, change of mind deadline, and you want some insight information about our degree programs at Maynooth, and you think, oh God, why didn't I ask such and such question at the open day? Please feel free to drop me an email at any time. Hopefully I will know the answer for you, but don't worry, I have lots of contacts throughout the university. I'm more than happy to direct your question to them and get the information back for you. So my email address is ita.mcguigan@mu.ie. Another great way to contact us anytime throughout Monday to Friday, and indeed you can ask us questions over the weekend and we'll get back to you on the Monday morning, is through our Ask platform, which is available on our website. You may also be kept up to date with all Maynooth University information through our social media channels, and those are indicated at the bottom right of the screen now. So I'm going to start on, and don't forget to ask questions, but I suppose what I should do is give you a context. So what are we going to cover over the next 35 minutes? So our introduction, I've told you my name is Ita. My background is I'm an engineer myself, and I'm very passionate about, I suppose I've been very fortunate in my career to date. So I'm going to give you a very truthful insight into how science and engineers are in such demand and why I would recommend it for anyone to consider science and engineering. I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. Laura Creevy, who is a science graduate herself and an expert, there she is, an expert in all things science also. So Laura's going to be busy over the next 40 minutes answering your questions. So don't forget to go into the text box in the Q&A there and ask Laura a load of questions. Keep her busy for the morning. Sorry, Laura. We're also joined by a science student, Andrea, who is a final year student. So after my presentation, Andrea is going to give you key nuggets of information on what it's like to be a student at Maynooth University, and in particular a science student at Maynooth University. Then I'm going to talk to you about the MH201 science degree program, one of our biggest programs in Maynooth University. And then I will talk about our specialized science degrees, go on to our computer science degrees, talk about our engineering robotics degrees, and then I'm handing over to Andrea. So that's the content for the next few minutes. So if you come in to study any of our science or computer science or engineering degrees, you're going to be joining the Faculty of Science and Engineering at Maynooth University. Now, there's expertise in the department or in the faculty. And indeed, when we think about the COVID, I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing about COVID, but many of our leading academics are often featured on prime time, on the news and news talk or wherever, and they're experts from the Department of Biology. So biology is in the faculty, then we're also chemistry, computer science, electronic engineering, experimental physics, mathematical physics, maths and stats, and psychology. Now, why do I tell you this? Well, it's great to know that you're joining, I suppose, a faculty of expertise, but also, and Andrea will talk about this later, you might be a biology student, but you could be sitting in lectures with chemistry students or experimental physics students or electronic engineering students. So there's great morale, you make great friends, not just in your course, but throughout the faculty. So that's just a breakdown of the Faculty of Science and Engineering at Maynooth. Now, as I said at the very start, I'm an engineering graduate and I'm very, very passionate about degrees in STEM because, as I said to you, they've afforded me great opportunities throughout my career, both working as an engineer in consultancy, but then expanding, I suppose, my portfolio into other areas such as business, marketing, and the financial area. So why would I be passionate about STEM? When I was doing my Leaving Cert, I was an average student, average at everything from Irish to maths. I did chemistry, and then I had business studies and other subjects. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I wanted a degree that would allow me branch off in everything from business to STEM or whatever. And why do employers want STEM graduates? Because throughout your 3 or 4 year degrees in Maynooth University, you will be taught how to analyse and explain complex issues. You have to identify problems and work out solutions and think logically and analytically. So if you think about it, if you're going on to be a trainee accountant, that's really, really important. In any, in the financial industry, in engineering, in science, in all walks of life now, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be really creative, and most importantly, you have to be able to work in a team. And when you think about what I mentioned earlier about COVID, it's not just one single person that's coming up with the vaccine or working out in NEFIT or in the government itself, I suppose. It's not just one person. You have to be able to work in a team, and you have to communicate that message very, very well. Well, if you come in to study science or computer science or engineering, that's an integral part of your degree, and you will be working on that every day throughout your degree studies here. So you will be armed with not only your science expertise or your engineering expertise, you've got all these other skills that are really, really in high demand in any role, in any organization, and in any job nowadays. So it's great, even if you're not sure, possibly you're attending other talks today, and I hope you are at the open day. And if you're unsure about whether you're going down the business road or possibly the science or engineering road, yes, the STEM qualification will enable you to, or equip you to expand your career expertise into other areas, not just STEM related. The other good thing about the Faculty of Science and Engineering at Maynooth, you'll have access, and Dr. Laura Creevy, who's on here today too, went on and continued her study because there's leading researchers out there, and Andrea will talk to you about her summer work experience in Maynooth University. So if you're an undergraduate student here, you have access to leading researchers, and I've listed some of the institutes there. So it's great to have that backup, and it's recognized worldwide, the researchers that we have here in the university. So MH201. MH201 is one of our biggest degree programs here at Maynooth University. It's hugely, hugely popular. It's important to emphasize that any degree that I mentioned throughout the next 25 minutes, you do not need a language requirement. There are specific course-specific subjects that you may need. And I suppose one of those for MH201, well, it makes sense that you will need a science subject. I should also have said at the start, this is the Maynooth prospectus, and make sure if you don't have a copy that you can order a free copy delivered to your door. So if you don't have that prospectus in front of you, order one today and we get that out in the post. Now, the 2020 points for MH201 were 360 points. Some people came into the class with over 500 points, and what is indicated there is the number of points the lowest applicant came in on. So 360 is the lowest points that the last person came in on. A good thing also to know is that there are QQI links. So if you go off and do a FETAC course, that you can then apply for, well, if you do a relevant one, you can apply then to do MH201. Now, what I love about this degree, it's really your degree. And I suppose I got very excited when I was underlining words when I was preparing this presentation, but I really, really wanted to emphasize this is your degree. It's your choice of subjects. You shape your future and you will make an informed decision. So what do I mean by that? So what I mean by your degree and your choice of subjects, if you look on page 119 of the prospectus, it will detail all the subjects that you can do. So, and what's really important here, and not many universities that I am aware of, let you make that informed decision. So during the 4 weeks, you might never have studied data science or engineering science, and you might think, okay, I better stick to the subjects I know. I know you can do chemistry in school, you can do physics in school, and maybe I did biology for my leaving cert, so I'll stick to those subjects because I know them. I would be thinking you're doing yourself an injustice there. Why not, during the first 4 weeks, try every single one, put yourself out there, and say after a lecture or two in data science, you may think, oh my God, I'm so thankful that I had these 4 weeks to decide because actually I love it. Or you might say, actually, no, I'm glad I tried it, but it's definitely not for me. This is your future, right? So the onus is on you. It's your responsibility. Use those 4 weeks wisely. So at the end of the 4 weeks, you can go, okay, Ita, you tried everything. Now I'm really gonna actually pick those subjects I never thought of before. Or at the end of the 4 weeks, you go, no, I was right at the very start of this process. I'm happy with my 3 initial subjects, but I'm glad I tried those other ones out. So I'm 100% sure in my mind that I use these 4 weeks wisely because it is my future, it is my degree. And we're also going to talk to you about transfer options. And this is important to have the prospectus or indeed online. I'm a wee bit older and I like having a physical book in front of me so I can circle things or highlight things or put a big X through things. But you can get all this information online too. But there are a number of transfer options too. So there are 8 subjects to choose from in MH201. But in first year, you must choose mathematics. And then, as I said earlier, you've got the 4 weeks to decide on your 3 science subjects. And again, I'm repeating myself here, you've got the 4 weeks to decide. And don't worry, when you start here in Maynooth University, during orientation, you will have the opportunity to learn about more about the subject selection in MH201. So you're not going into this cold, there'll be people there to guide you. But as I said before in the last slide, you know, it's your future, you know, invest the time, those 4 weeks well, so you're making that informed decision. So I said that you do maths in first year, then you choose 3 from biology, chemistry, computer science, data science, engineering science, experimental physics, and mathematical physics. So I said a couple of minutes ago there, you might go, okay, well, I do biology in school, I do chemistry in school, and the only other thing that I recognize there is physics, so I might pick it. Put yourself out of the comfort zone for the first 4 weeks. I'm not saying you have to sign up for this for the rest of your life, but for those 4 weeks, find out what data science is, because you know, in COVID, I keep mentioning COVID, I promise I'll divert from it in a bit, but you know, when we're modeling COVID and analysing around the country where higher cases are or around the world, data science is really important in that. So imagine if you're a biology graduate with the expertise and the knowledge in data science, the huge benefits that you can bring to the fight against COVID. Or you might, computer science is so applicable in any jobs that I mentioned there at the start, from finance, from consultancy to business. So try the computer science for the first 4 weeks. Engineering science, you might go, oh, I don't know what an engineer is. I don't know anything about engineering science. Is that a good enough excuse for you not to try it during the 4 weeks? You might love it. Or again, at the end of the 4 weeks, you might go, okay, I tried that. It's definitely not for me. There's no harm done. But if you're looking at those words and you go, I don't know what that is, be curious, find out what it is and try it out. And as I say, you will have, you'll be equipped better at the end of 4 weeks to make that informed decision. So in first year, as I say, you pick the maths, and I do say, please see page 119 for important subject notes, subject combination notes. So that possibly in a small, tiny number of cases, you might be able to choose X plus Y together. So you do that for the first year, maths and 3 other subjects, science subject, simple, okay? Then in second year, you continue with 3 subjects. So you could drop your data science, or you could drop your engineering science, or you could drop your maths. But you know what? A lot of people that I've been talking to, you know, they say, well, you know, I only picked maths in first year because I had to do it. But I found out, even though I didn't feel comfortable with it at secondary school, I excelled at it in third level, and actually continue on and actually graduate with a maths degree. So come in very much with an open mind, because you might have had a bad experience in school because something mightn't have clicked with you. And when you come into university, you know, it could be the content that you're covering, you just excel in it, or it could be the lecturer that inspires you. But you might, so what I'm trying to get across here, come in with a very positive, okay, I can drop this after 1 year, but be open to the fact that actually you might fall in love with it. Similarly with the other subjects that I mentioned that you might never have studied before. I was talking to one of our postgraduate students here, Stephen, and he's just finished off his PhD in physics. And I was like, tell me your story. And he was like, I come into MH201 and I thought I was going to do an X and Y, but I tried the physics for 4 weeks and I decided to keep on with it. And I was like, right, and how did you get on in physics in your leaving cert? And he says, that's the thing, I didn't do physics in my leaving cert. And he's now going to be Dr. Stephen, and his doctorate is in physics. So I said, coming in with this very curious mind, come in with a very open mind, and God knows where, as I said at the very start, this is your future, you shape your degree. In second year, you continue on with 2 subjects, and then fourth, you can do 2 or 1 subjects. Now, this is how the course is structured during the 4 years. So it's your 4 subjects are equal weighting, so they're worth 15 credits each. Now, if you fast forward there over to 4th year, do not stress at this point whether you're going to do a combined, a double major. A double major is you do 2 subjects worth 30 credits each or 1. Don't even think about that. You know, the most important thing that you should be thinking about is your CEO and what you're going to put down in it, and is STEM something really that you're interested in. And as I say, during those 4 weeks, don't plan out your future at this stage, because during those 4 weeks, like Stephen, who's now the PhD in physics, or Andrea will talk to you about her experiences too, your mind could be opened and your future could change. So don't fast forward down the road for 4 years. Well, that would be my advice anyway. So I say here, it's the flexibility. What I love about this degree is flexibility, and the future depends on you. And my last point there, this may change from the start of your MH201 journey. So, you know, there's the flexibility there. It's what's great about it is you can shape it. And as I said, it could change from 1st to 4th year, all in a positive way, please God. Now, a lot of people would say to me, okay, Ita, I know I MH201 would really, really be good for me, but what will I be at the end of it? This is a relatively new slide that I've included because people were asking me so much questions about that. These are just a handful, well, actually as much as the page would allow, of the jobs that people who have studied MH201 go into. Everything, immunology is huge at the minute. And MH201, because of the excellent biology department here, this is one of the areas you can go into. There's, I mentioned earlier about someone coming into maths who knew they had to do it in 1st year, but never, ever thought they were going to go on and do it for 4 years. They actually then went on to work in Met-Éireann in meteorology with a maths degree. There's another student who came into MH201 who had failed physics in her leaving cert, but chose to specialise in biology and physics. She said she had a bad day in the leaving cert. She didn't want to go back and repeat. She had another science subject. She came into MH201 and the spark was reignited in physics with her. So she specialised in biology and physics, and now she's just after finishing a master's in biomedical engineering, and she's working as a biomedical engineer. So those are just, I just want to give you an insight into the I suppose the options, the excellent options and the exciting options that possibly one day you will become. And this is just a limited list. The list is endless. So that's MH201. How do you find out more? You said, okay, you said, look at the prospectus. You said, look at the website, go into our undergraduate, click down on Bachelor of Science. It will bring you to this next page. Click on course structure. It will bring you to this. So whatever you decide, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen at you, because you can't see what I'm, or you can see, but you can't understand why I'm pointing, but I'm clicking there on data science. So you're thinking, okay, she mentioned data science. What is it? I know she said I could do it for 4 weeks, but I want to really come in with as much information as I can. Click on data science and it brings you into there talking about what you would be doing in data science. So before you even can start, or even before you finalize your CEO, you can arm yourself with as much information as possible. And as I say at the start, you know, this is your future, it's your choices. So make a really informed choice. You know, don't regret come your CEO choices and you get something that you never ever wanted because it could have been lower down. You know, it is your choices. You know, you have to take some responsibility and do as much research as you can on that. And as I say, you will have my email address, you will have the admissions email address, and that's for Maynooth or any university. You know, there's people there to help you get as much information for you. Okay. I mentioned transfer options. So let's say you say, okay, I'm really excited about MH201, but really and truly, my top one is MH. I'm just picking MH208 here because Dr. Laura Creevy done MH208, which is biologic and biomedical sciences. So let's say you think, okay, I'm going to use MH201. I'm going to put that number 2, but really, 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 I want to get into MH208. Some people come into MH201 because that is their number 1 choice. Others come in going, okay, I'm going to do this with the hope at the end of year 2, I'm going to get into MH208. On page 119 of the prospectus, you will see this chart which details if you want to apply for a transfer, you must take biology, maths, and 2 other subjects. So you still could do whatever other 2 subjects that you wanted, but the important thing there is that you have to take biology. It goes on your Leaving Cert performance, but also your first year university results. So yes, university is brilliant. It's a bit, I didn't particularly enjoy 2nd level education, but I loved 3rd level. And it's, I suppose, meeting new people, enjoying your course, but there's the social point of it too. But from day one, I have to say, if you're looking, or in any degree, I would give it my all. I would try and do as best as I can, because if you are looking to transfer your first year results, if you look down there, everything from biotechnology right down, it says it goes on your first year results. So remember that if transfer is, if you are considering it. I will be talking about engineering later on, but the important thing just to notice, I will mention later on that you need a higher 4 in maths in Leaving Cert to get into MH304 electronic engineering. And you might be sitting there going, oh God, I'm not doing higher level maths. Well, do you know, if you come into MH201 and if you look down to the very, the second last column there or line there, did you know if you come into MH201 with ordinary level maths, you can actually transfer into year 2 electronic engineering, but you have to pick engineering science, maths, computer science, and 1 other subject, and you must attain 50% or more in first year science examinations. So that could be an option. You might have never thought of being an engineer, but after today, hopefully I might inspire you to consider it. And there is a transfer option there for you. So this choice of specialized degrees. Now, the biotechnology, we have biotechnology, biological and geographical sciences. 2020 saw the first intake of, in this new degree, hugely popular degree, MH203, where you study biology and geography sciences. And I think Maynooth University is the only university, I could be wrong on that, but it's one of a unique degree anyway, where you can combine your love for geography, 2nd level geography, and your love for biology. And then you can come into this degree and become a specialist in that area. And you can go on then possibly to become a biology and geography teacher, subject to completing a PME, but also you could work in the area of construction, in project management, you can work in surveying, and there's loads of options there for you. I mentioned MH208, a hugely popular degree. This degree won't, you know, it's not a degree that if you want to work in a lab in a hospital, this degree isn't for you. This is everything. I mentioned immunology, finding cures, working on research. But a lot of people actually come into MH208 because possibly they're thinking of graduate entry into the health services or veterinary. That may be an option for you. You could come in directly into MH207 data science, and in the States, they're one of the highest paid graduates is the area of data science. If you think everything from the US election and how data science influenced that, right through to, as I say, modelling where the COVID outbreaks are worse in the world or worse in the country or worse in a county, you can get into that micro. Physics, we have a talk at 12 o'clock today. I'd really encourage you to join that physics talk. It will cover MH204, it'll cover MH206, and indeed it will talk about studying physics through arts, it will also talk about the physics that you will cover if you're interested in MH212, the science with education. We have MH209. So the difference between psychology through science and psychology through arts is the subject choice in first year, whether you pick an art subject or a science subject when you're studying, along with the psychology content you're studying. So a lot of people wonder what's the difference in the two. It's the subject selection that you pick. There's also the pharmaceutical and biomedical chemistry, and then I mentioned the science education degrees. We have 3 science education degrees, and the second one there, the computer science, you may know that is now a Leaving Cert teaching subject. So you can go on to become a science, maths, or a computer science teacher with that. The electronic or the computer science and software engineering. So there's 2 codes there in purple at the top, 601 and 602. So both what they refer to, the 601 is through arts and the 602 is through science. A bit like the psychology, it's the same content. The difference is whether you choose the 30 credits of computer science and maths plus 1 from arts, or if you choose 1 from science. That's the difference whether you're doing 601 or 602. What's really, really good about this degree, well, Intel is expanding at an exponential rate down the road, and there's huge career opportunities in computer science and software engineering around the country, around the world. What's really good about computer science and software engineering at Maynooth University is that 6-month placement. It's invaluable. It really will stand out on your CV. Similarly, with the 2 listed below that, 601 and 602, MWA or MWS, the multimedia and mobile web development through science or arts, it's the same content apart from that very last bullet point, whether you study the arts subject or the science subject. And what's really good about that is the 6-month placement again. The computational thinking, now I just put a note here in bold, there is a higher level maths required. It's an accelerated degree, it's only 3 years. Now, in saying that, if it was me, I would definitely opt to take the placement option between year 3, and it'll be a 4-year degree if you do the placement option. I would, because I love to have my CV standing out, and I know Andrea is going to talk about that. You can take that 1-year placement. It's a unique degree in that you're combining computer science, it's maths, sorry about that error there, and philosophy. So you're combining human creativity with the power of computers and solve problems, and software development, analysis, mathematical and financial modeling, bioinformatics, and security. The Bachelor of Engineering, I did mention earlier about the H4 requirement. I did say that you could come in through MH201, do well in your exams, and then transfer to year 2. But I also should tell you that there is the maths exam. Maynooth University offer those who possibly didn't get the grade they were expecting in their Leaving Cert and might have fell short, might have had a bad day at the office that day. We do, the week after your results are issued, you can register for our engineering maths exam, and if subject to passing it and getting 60% in it, you can then get into MH304. So look up, you can actually register that from now, it's live. So it's maynoothuniversity.ie/maths exam. There's a placement year subject to you if you're doing so you can finish after 4 years with a Bachelor of Engineering. I would encourage you to do the 5-year program. It's the Masters of Engineering. Why would I encourage that? Is because if you're thinking of becoming a chartered engineer, the requirement for any engineer to become a chartered engineer is to have a Masters in Engineering. And a good thing about that is the placement. Jessica is our final year student. She actually came in through the maths exam. She didn't have Maynooth University on her CEO application. Bad day at the office when she done her Leaving Cert maths. She didn't get the H4 required. She done the engineering maths exam and is now in 5th year and has completed her work placement in a pharmaceutical company, and she has other placements throughout her CV during the summers. MH306, robotics and intelligent devices. You don't need a science subject for this one, and like all our other programs, you don't need a language requirement. What's really good about it, again, the placement. It's a combination of electronic engineering and computer science. So everything, robotics, you know, self-driving vehicles, how to improve people's health, well-being, assisted living, smart manufacturing. The future really is robotics. I remember here not that long, well, actually it was about 3 years ago, when it scared me, because I said in 10 years time, 60% of all available jobs won't be available in 10 years because robots will be doing them. So I'm thinking, oh God, well, that's 3 years ago now. I've only 7 years left to upskill. So if you're thinking about the future and you're interested in computers and a wee bit interested in the engineering too, it's a great option for you. That's what I'm going to, that's the content finished. I can't stress enough, if you want to find out about what it's like to be a computer science student at Maynooth University, or a biological or biomedical sciences student at Maynooth University, or an engineering student, I know I can talk about it till the cows come home, but who can give you the best insight possible is actually one of our students, and I'm going to introduce you to Andrea in a minute. So make sure there's a great facility online where you can engage with one of our student ambassadors, who will talk to you about, give you an insight what it's actually like studying all those degrees that I mentioned to you earlier. So don't forget to check that out. And I mentioned maths, whether you're studying law, psychology, engineering, science, computer science, any undergraduate degree at Maynooth University, there's a free resource centre in Maynooth University, and it's headed up by Dr. Kieran Mockinvard. And it's where students can, it's a free place that students can go and work together, peer-to-peer learning with a maths problem. You're not given the solution, but there is assistance there to help you work through the maths challenge. And a bit like any resource in Maynooth University, avail of it. If you're struggling with anything, we've great resources there, great help for you there. But again, back to what I said at the start, you know, you have to take responsibility. This is your degree. And if you're struggling, just ask your lecturer, go to the Maths Learning Support Centre, and there's resources there to help you excel. Life after Maynooth University, as I said at the very start, if you're a STEM graduate, it really is limitless, the opportunities that you can go to. You can get into research, you can go to a big consultancy, you can go to a small company. Really and truly, STEM graduates are multidisciplinary. They can, you know, the options are limitless really for you. I mentioned that there is a talk at physics at 12 o'clock today, where you'll hear in depth from the academics who will cover everything from physics in through MH 101 arts right through to the specific physics disciplines. So I would engage you to talk to them. So again, my email address I give you at the start, and that's the admissions email. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to introduce you to Andrea.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for being here today. So my name is Andrea and I am a final year chemistry student. I came in through the MH201 course, and in first year I took up maths, biology, chemistry and physics. And funny enough, I didn't do physics in the Leaving Cert at all. And I actually have friends who came into the degree and they had only done biology. So I have a friend and she picked up physics and chemistry and she'd never done it before. And a lot of you might think that that's quite scary because, you know, oh, other people have done it and they'll know more. That's not actually the case. All of the professors, no matter what subject you do choose within any area of the degree, they will start from the beginning and they will start from the basics. So everybody kind of has that chance and opportunity to build on top of the basics. So after first year, I went into second year and I did full biology, full chemistry, and half of maths. So in second year, you actually get an opportunity to do other subjects. And I chose to do half maths and half science communication. Now there's a list of other subjects. My friend did accounting, another one did German, somebody else had done geography for the year. So it's just kind of like a year for you to experience another subject that's outside of science really. But I chose science communication because I thought that it would really help my understanding of science and just how we communicate around the world, because I think that that's the most important thing, as well as the research. But then after that, I went into third year and I just did full chemistry and full biology. So that was half and half. And then in final year, funny enough, I signed up to do the double honours. So for final year to do half chemistry and half biology. And then I don't know, one day it just struck me, and I sent an email. I was like, I need to change to just full chemistry. So your mind does change throughout your degree, but I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the MH201 because it was very open. And I actually, in first year, I went into the administrative stuff and I said, I want to transfer into pharmaceuticals and chemistry because I really enjoyed chemistry. And then I had realized that it was actually a very narrow, like, course, and it was very specific. And yes, it had placement, which is great. But I felt that the modules were just too specific. And I said, well, Jesus, what if I get into final year and I don't even like it anymore? Like that would be very devastating. So I said, no, I have to just stay here, because this way I'm getting a view of everything that science is about, different modules from all different subjects. And when it does come to the time where I do have to say, okay, what do I actually want to do now? I have a better understanding, and I think I definitely have made the right choice for myself. So I am very happy with the fact that I just do full chemistry. A lot of you might kind of think, oh, you know, maths in first and second year, it's very difficult. And funny enough, it's nothing like Leaving Cert maths. What you learn in Leaving Cert maths stays in Leaving Cert. When you come into university, it's new. And like you just said, I would really encourage you to keep an open mind about everything. I came into, first year, and I did maths, and I was always in the Maths Sports Centre. It was just a really great place because, you'd have at least one assignment a week for maths, and it would only be about, depending on your lecture, like 5 or 10 questions in or between that. And it's always based on what you've learned in those lectures. So that I really enjoyed that. Also, what I really was grateful for is the tutorials that we had during the week. So every week you'd have at least one tutorial for maths, and you'd have maybe about like 20 to 30, depending on how large the module is. And you just be kind of like just you guys with the tutor, and they would go through your answers that you've given for your homework, and then they point you into where you've gone wrong and where you've gone right. So I think that you do get quite a lot of support. So I would really, just say, don't be afraid of maths, because it is great. And so then one more thing I would like to say is, when you go into college, like, this course doesn't have placement because it's so large that you can't offer placement to everybody, and it's so broad, so it's quite hard to offer a placement. But what I did is, in first year, one of our professors said, look, if anybody would like to study or to just learn something for the summer, I wouldn't mind taking a couple of students. And I went and I said, hi, Dr. Kavanagh, I would like to just spend a week or two in your lab with you, just to get an understanding of what science is. And at that time, I didn't really know, and I don't think anybody knows where they actually want to end up and what career they want. And so it was a good experience for me to know, is research a good place for me? So I spent 2 weeks in the lab with him, and I actually can't stress this enough. I learned more in 2 weeks experiencing what actual research is like than I did in the entire year of first year. And then in my second year of summer, I said, you know what, I would really love to understand what chemistry is like, because I know what biology is like in terms of research. So let me see what chemistry is like. So I went into the chemistry department and I said, you know what, I really like this professor and I would like to see the research that he does. So then he took me on for most of the summer, and I got to do 2 separate projects. So one in organic chemistry and one in inorganic chemistry. And I loved it. And I said, I really think that this is a place for me. So then in third year, what Maynooth does offer, and I would encourage everybody to apply for it, it's SPUR. It's a student undergraduate program for the summer, and you get to experience what research is like. And this is offered for every subject, for every course within the university. So I applied for it through chemistry. And for the summer, sadly, I couldn't go into the lab, but we did a remote project, and it was really great because I ended up, doing presentations and learning how to actually present like research and things. And then at the end of it, I had a poster to do. So everybody does a poster and there's like a nice award at the end. But the poster was really great because I was able to show all the hard work that I did for 6 weeks and present it to somebody. So it was really nice, and I had learned so much. So then after that, the project that we worked on, I said, you know what, I think I would love to do a doctorate. So I wanted to move on and to do a PhD. So we applied for the IRC, and there's different fundings that you can apply for. So now I'm not entirely sure, I haven't been told whether or not I have gotten it or if I haven't, but as a fourth year right now, I need to start thinking about options and where I could go from here. So I'm actually going to be applying for Intel as an undergrad, as a postgraduate. And a lot of people kind of go, but you're doing chemistry. How do you fit in Intel? And funny enough, as a chemistry student, there's a lot of things that I have learned throughout my degree that I can still apply: problem solving, working in teams, and a lot of things that you do within chemistry, it's actually done in industries. So I have a lecturer who actually done her PhD in Maynooth, and she went on to do 2 years in Intel. So it's like the world is, yours to take. You can really go anywhere with a science degree. And I've also applied, for different pharmaceutical places, but again, like, Ita has done a science degree and she works with a university. So it doesn't have to be in a lab. I've just had enough experience to know that that is where I want to be, and that is where I can flourish the most, is probably within research. So that would be my goal, but I'm not closed off to the option of going into an industry and seeing what industry is like. Probably research in industry or research to academia. So it really is, it's a great degree, and I would encourage a lot of you to come in with an open mind about it. Also, it's so sad that we're doing all of this online, because I had an amazing time in first and second year, and I really do hope that all of this goes away as soon as possible. But if you do come in to college and you do have the opportunity, try societies. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but there are so many different societies that students have set up themselves, and you get to meet people who do completely different degrees to you, who have different train of thoughts to you, but in some ways you guys click, and it's really interesting to see how other people work within a society. And it's great, and it's just something that you can find time to relax, and it doesn't always just have to be about work and exams and study. I really thought that Maynooth was a place that was very balanced in terms of your academia and your social life. So I really felt that I got the best of both worlds in that sense. But I also would encourage you to go onto as student buddy, or is it called student buddy?
Yeah, ask the student.
Ask the student. And we have each student would have a small profile, and you can personally send a text. And I've answered plenty of texts, and no question is too small or too big for us to answer. So if you do find that halfway through filling out your CEO, you're kind of like, I don't know what to do, send me a text. And in terms of biology and chemistry, and I can go into more in depth about, a lot of people have asked, what's the timetable like, and are you full? And sadly, with STEM subjects, you are a very full-time student. It is, in first year, I had 3 labs that I had to go to, tutorials that I had to attend on top of lectures, and reports that I had to write. But I think it made, being able to get all my work done. My friends and I would always say, okay, look, if we can get this assignment done right now, then we can go off and we can enjoy our evening. Or if we get this assignment done, then that means we can have the day to spend tomorrow, and we can go out and do things. So even though you're not alone, I felt like I had a very good support from friends and people that I met through college. So I really hope that for you guys going into September next year, that you really get to experience all of this. So yeah, that's me. Thank you. If you have any questions,
That's brilliant, Andrea. I was laughing when you said, you wanted to spend your time in the lab. Ita's working in the university. Yes, Ita's working in the university because Ita's 100 years older than you, and I'm just so envious of your stage in your career, because it's so exciting and the opportunities afforded to you, and it's so exciting. And I think what's a real benefit, or what really stands out for Andrea, is that she got those placements during the summer, and she showed initiative. So
you don't have to have a placement.
No,
your course doesn't have to. You can go out and you can get it yourself. It
exactly,
is possible.
Exactly. So as Andrea said, you can ask our student on the platform. Our live Q&A is from 1 o'clock today. I'm going to finish now because I'm going to be answering the questions on the physics, which is kicking off at 12 o'clock. And even as Andrea said, she never studied physics, but she studied it in first year. So if something has sparked an interest during my talk or what Andrea was saying, please log on to the 12 o'clock talk. Now, I know I give a quick overview on all STEM subjects at Maynooth University, and there's people who would like more information in particular or any of those programs that I mentioned. Please be aware that the presentations are all on the platform today, and from 1 o'clock you will be able to engage with, say, like Dr. Kevin Kavanagh that Andrea mentioned in biology. He'll be answering questions. So if you have questions about immunology or biology or any questions, please log on at 1 o'clock. And I've given you my email address, the admissions email address. Andrea is going to be live on the Q&A with students, and she is also one of our Meet the Students people that you can engage with online too. So I hope that was informative, and please do not hesitate to contact me in the future. And as I say, to use this opportunity to listen to the physics talk, to listen to the law talk, to listen to all the talks, and the academics are going to be there live from 1 o'clock. So thank you for your time. And
sorry, can I just say one thing? I will be doing a live talk on Instagram, on the Maynooth Instagram page between 2 and 3 o'clock today. So if you do have any questions that are more specific, then I'll be live and you can just send me a text and I will get back to you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andrea. And thank you, Laura, in the background. And thank you, everyone, for your time this morning, and enjoy the lovely weather, but after the open day at 3 o'clock.